showed you like how excited he is to get back on the court and play.
I mean, that's the thing. Is I was going to say is like we have to calm him down because he is, excited. He just loves to play. He's one of those guys. Like if you can find a 5-on-5 game anywhere, like Darius is going to go find a 5-on-5 game and want to play for hours. So there's no more, hurtful thing for him than to take away his basketball. So we expect him to come out, if he does play, with a ton of energy. Want to have a lot of fun, enjoying his teammates and playing in front of the crowd.
Is there a message to him, or you just kind of want to just let him go?
Yeah, I mean, we talk obviously, and the conversation is like it all doesn't come back at once. You've been out for a month or so against and not playing NBA caliber players, and not playing the NBA game and all those things. So you just can't get it all back at once. Being on limited minutes and all those things. Like there's going to come some frustration where you want more, especially a guy like who it was his jaw and not a knee or an ankle or whatever, where physically he's going to probably feel fine. But again, we'll just be cautious with that and let him take his time and work his way back to full speed.
JB, with Jarrett being questionable to play tonight and Evan still on minute restrictions, who are you looking to step up in that 5 role if Jarrett's not able to go tonight?
I think D. Jones has to do the job for us. We're confident that he can go out and execute the things that we need him to execute. We had the opportunity, and especially tonight with them missing, some key bigs. They go smaller with their second unit, so we can go smaller and play Dean Wade and George Niang back there together if we needed to. But we're confident in the guys we have that can go out and get the job done.
Has there been any conversation with Darius about reacclimation into the offense, knowing that you guys have kind of gotten into this 3-point shooting mindset?
Yeah, I mean, we again, had the conversation about expectations, coming back, what it's going to feel like, what it's going to look like. And Darius is extremely intelligent. It's not like he doesn't see what's happening. He sees how we're playing, and he's capable of playing that way. He's a guy who can not only create threes off the dribble, but he can catch and shoot. He moves well without the ball, so he fits in with all the things that we're doing. He's an elite passer and playmaker, so nothing changes. And again, he's wants to be a part of it, so I expect nothing different.
I'm right down equal. JV, you kind of alluded to it, but if in the event Darius does play tonight, will he be on a minute restriction?
Yes, he will be.
What is your ideal max for him?
20 to 24-ish.
Okay.
Somewhere in there.
And just speaking of these injured guys, with this being the first game of a back-to-back, do you plan on letting either of them, him or Evan, play tomorrow, or just kind of wait and see how they're feeling?
The expectation is that the guys will play, but we will always, be cautious of how they're feeling. You mix in a flight, you mix in a back-to-back, you don't know, all those things that happen. So, there is no plan for them not to play, but, obviously we'll be aware of our situation and make a decision that's best for our guys.
Joe?
I think Darius has had maybe 3 serious facial injuries, at least 2, maybe 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that they happen on freak plays, but when a guy has that happen to him 3 times, do you try to look at it to see if there's an underlying issue?
Yeah, so the 2 off the top of my head that I remember, obviously this past one, it's like you're coming off a screen trying to beat a big guy. Mm-hmm. Like how many times does he come off a screen and beat a big guy? You just happen to ran into a 7'2" dude and his hip happened to be at your face. The one last year, where he had the ball, we were transitioning to offense and we were in their backcourt and the guy just swiped in and hit him in the face, and got his eye good. So it's crazy, but like it doesn't appear that there's like he plays a certain way, so this happens to him more than it would happen to somebody else. I think he's a guy who has the ball in his hands a lot, and just very freaky things have happened to him.
And then I know we've been talking a lot about the 3-pointer lately, but it seems like when Darius was out and was out, that Sam Merrill, he impacted winning. And I'm wondering, how do you keep him engaged and in the lineup? And I know we talked about when Craig Porter was really good earlier in the year, we were talking about him, and he said, yeah, but we're deep. It seems like Sam has actually changed a little bit for you guys. So how do you factor that into the decision you have now with his minutes?
I mean, I've got to do my best to keep him on the floor, and I think he's earned that right. He's impacted us on both sides of the ball. It's not going to be easy. Just if you look at the makeup of our lineup with Darius, Donovan, Max, Isaac, Karras, Sam, Evan back moves Dean to some minutes at the 3. Like, you got 7 guys really that are playing for 3 spots. So everybody's opportunities and minutes may just have to shrink a little bit to allow everybody, each other guy to kind of step up and get a piece of it. But again, it's not going to be easy. Sometimes it's going to come down to the night and matchups, and guys have to be prepared for that. But we're going to try our best because, again, he's worked his tail off. And, again, like you said, he's helped us become a different type of basketball team on both ends of the floor. So we don't want to just, put him on the shelf. So we're going to try our best to make sure everybody gets that opportunity that they've earned.
Jackson.
Jackson Flickinger, right down Euclid. So since the beginning of December, you guys are first in opponent 3-point percentage against. Last season, you guys were on the opposite end of the spectrum and kind of in the beginning of the season. What has changed on the defensive end?
I think we've eliminated the easy catch and shoots, and I think that starts with how we defend on the ball. If you allow people to penetrate, get to the paint, now you're in rotations. If teams do the job well, the ball always moves faster than the rotation, and you create a bunch of catch and shoot open threes. And I think this year we've done a better job of containing the ball, keeping it in front of us, and eliminating those easy one-mores where guys can get rhythm catch and shoot threes.
Spence.
Spencer Davies, Cavs Insider. We talked about Donovan playing the point over this stretch before. And with Darius back, I'm just curious, ideally off ball, like what are the things that you're looking for from him? And is there anything that you've seen over the stretch, like from the other guards, that you could use in, put Darius in that same spot? Yeah,
I think it's, again, our offense should be equal opportunity, right? If you just do the right thing, we can play positionless basketball because all you're supposed to do is pass the ball to the open man and then make a quick decision with the ball in your hand. So positions really shouldn't matter because everybody's responsibility is the same. I think one of the things that you see, again, you use Sam, you use Max and those guys, how well, they move off the ball and move with the big having the ball in his hands. Like, I think those are things that Darius can do, as well and kind of help create the chaos on the offensive end of the floor. If you think about, people chasing all 3 of those guys around, the other opportunities that it's going to open up, I think it's going to be really, really difficult for teams to guard.
When you have guys like Donovan and Darius having to kind of split those duties in a way, is it hard for them to get into a rhythm, like when one's coming back, do you think, or does it come naturally just as the games go on, or how does that work?
I mean, I think it comes naturally. Obviously, I do think they have a great rapport, and I think having played together for, an entire season last year and working together over the summer and all those things, like they understand each other's games. But they're both really, really selfless players, and they're both confident in who they are. So they don't have anything to prove, so to speak. So, again, if you just play the game purely, there's enough for everybody. And at the end of the day, we all know the ball finds your best players. Your most effective offensive weapons. The ball just has a natural gravity to them. So share it. Everybody trusts one another, and everybody will get their opportunities.
Anything else in the room? Okay. Thanks.
Appreciate it.